Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John.
I'm Claire.
This is Many a True Nerd, and welcome to the grand finale of the Stellaris Utopia livestream. Over 12 parts, because obviously the advantage of going for 3 or 4 hours is you can get through parts pretty bloody quickly. So the galaxy looks like this, which you might think looks pretty bloody divided, but I prefer the diplomatic view. Basically, we're in green, everyone who's part of our federation, the Galactic Empire, I renamed that last time I was president, I may have gone slightly mad with power. Everyone who's in purple is part of that lovely, lovely federation there, and everyone in yellow is directly a vassal reporting in to me. But we now know the Unbidden are coming. They are coming, the thing is we don't know where. We don't know where, and where's going to cause some trouble. But that's fine, because there's things we need to do. We've got a huge, well, massively over capacity in terms of fleet right now. But this fleet, Legio 1, is not well set up for this, with its flipping 100... Oh, marvellous. With its bloody 177 War Elephant class battleships. And its 510 Equites class corvettes. No, it's not well set up to deal with the Unbidden in the slightest. So, the first thing we need to do today is basically quickly rejig my fleet in order to get it to be appropriate. I'm basically retrofitting out my fleet to be as strong as possible against shields. My fleet so far have been heavily kitted out with laser and plasma, and laser and plasma are basically better at taking out, they're better at taking out armor. So you can see there, plasma is ignores 60% of an armor rating, which you can see over here, so 2%, 2 armor, 2% armor over here. So that just kind of gives you a tiny bit of armor. So that basically would let you bypass that. However, they don't have any bonus versus shield. In fact, lasers actually get minus damage versus shields. Now, the Unbidden, I believe they never have any armor whatsoever, but they have quite a bit of shielding. So basically, I now want to retrofit out my entire fleet in order to be able to hit shields. Now, torpedoes are fine because they already kind of, they have plus 200% shield damage, so torpedo boats are fine, but I'm going to replace out the plasma cannon with the small Gauss cannon. It's short range, but it's better to have that than the alternative. So basically I'm going to go around doing that to all of my ships quickly, and just to confirm, I've gone over from the Tachyon Lance to the Giga Cannon, which is basically the same sort of thing, except it gets, actually no offense, it ignores 50% of armor too. It's just, it also gets bonus shield damage, whereas, hang on, what's the Tachyon Lance for comparison? Tachyon Lance, meanwhile, is, that gets minus 33% against shield damage, but gets the 90% of armor. In fact, actually, just the straight-up damage per time is actually higher on that anyway, so that seems like the better bet, full stop. How much is this going to cost to update? Because if I want to upgrade this to its design, actually, only 3,500. I'm almost amazed it's that low, but hang on, is that all? I'm just going to check out that some of that, didn't fail to save or something, because I'm amazed it's that cheap to change over, but... Okay, maybe I'm, selling the old guns on the black market or something, but okay. That's really, really damn good. I'm happy with a medium phase disruptor. Why not? That's bonus shield damage just in case. And also, I'm keeping the basic design of using bomber wings, because bomber wings have 100% shield penetration, so they can completely bypass shields, which again is just better and better. Like this fleet, I'm designing it to try and hard counter the Unbidden as far as possible. So I'm going entirely for anti-shield stuff, as well as just maxing out the DPS, as well as maxing out the range, because we want to be hitting them before they can hit us. Which is why, incidentally, the brand new Admiral that's actually commanding this fleet, even though he's a young and experienced kid, is cautious. Weapon range plus 10%. I just need to max out that range, because I need to be hammering them with my Giga Cannons before they get in range to start shooting me. Now, the next thing I need to do that's very important is, I could just upgrade this fleet, but then it would take a while, because it would all be happening at one starport. So I'm going to start splitting up my fleet, and I'm going to send it, basically, just dotted around to all my different starports. And each starport is going to upgrade a portion of the fleet. Then we're going to reunify, because that means overall it's going to be happening faster. Right, so the Unbidden are here. Now we find out where the Unbidden are. Because my fleet is now just desperately trying to upgrade as fast as possible. It's going to take a while. So the source of the massive power surge we detected earlier has been identified. It comes from a kind of gigantic subspace tear in the Kuturn system. Is that Yes, Kuturn system. So those are the Unbidden. They're lovely, lovely cuddle bugs, and specifically they're going to try and murder literally everyone. So their starting fleet, what they get to start with, just to kick them off, is 300,000 122,000 and 114,000. So they've come through with about a combined 450,000. And they've started bombarding the poor Fearsome Compact. So, okay. They have started, close by tank, let's see if we can just watch these guys in action over here. Yep, they've started murdering the Fearsome Compact. The first victim will unfortunately be the planet of Lajkut over here. Bless the brave guys in this here spaceport. They are firing. They are firing at the extra dimensional invaders. I'm not sure if you've seen these guys before, Claire. But they...
No, I don't think I have.
But they are basically great big wibbly, not quite of this universe stuff that doesn't quite exist.
They kind of look like space jellyfish.
Yeah, that's not unfair. Before. That's not unfair. And you can see here now we can hover over them. We can't actually get full details on them because they're so alien our scanners can't like figure out what's going on. But what we can detect by just hovering over them when we actually get visibility of the fleet is we can see that, yeah, they've got, this kind of random ship I've just picked here has got 7,000 hull points, but 2,000 shields. That's why we need the shields. Now, this is not great. The reason this is not great is because they've kind of spawned in pretty much the worst place in the galaxy they could have spawned, because they've spawned over here. Because for those of you who may have been a bit new, or just as a reminder for everyone else, there's been basically two halves to this galaxy. And this half of the galaxy, with the Pax Romana, and with the Bug People, and with the Mighty Ducks, and with the Ilkahan down here, this has been a strong, unified federation for pretty much this entire game. This side of the galaxy is strong, technologically advanced, big fleets, etc.
And also like you.
And also, they all like me. I mean, basically everyone likes me now, so that's not a problem, because everyone's in the Federation. But on this side of the galaxy, these guys have been warring states, constantly fighting each other and us, pretty much on and off for the entire time. They've pretty much constantly been in a state of war with us, just non-stop. They are weak, they are divided, their planetary defences are not set up correctly, their fleets are not in any position to muster any form of response against the Unbidden. They will be easy pickings. Now, that means we basically need to, as soon as we have got our fleet retrofitted, we need to begin a war and we need to bring the galaxy together on us. Like, we cannot have these guys throwing their fleets away, so unfortunately the Fearsome Compact are not going to be relieved immediately. So, what's going on, by the way, is the Unbidden are starting to spread. They're having managed to actually get a little kind of, a little starting point over here, and they're keeping 300,000 strength around their dimensional portal just to make sure it stays safe. Their other fleets now starting to spread out. Approximately 100,000 strong a piece. Now that's actually kind of good, because while that means unfortunately the Fearsome Compact are very rapidly going to start losing territory, because they're basically going to have their planets purified and completely purged, and as a result the territory of the Unbidden will start to spread. It means that for the time being their fleets are separated, and if our fleets can just take their fleets out one by one, that's good, because I'd rather take them out at 100,000 at a time than have to take out 500,000 in one go. We've got enough fleet here that we can give a good fight against the Unbidden by ourselves. And it's not just us, we have got friends. We've got the entire galaxy who are going to be showing up to help out here. Alright, everyone's merging together. Everyone's merging together. There's 9th Fleet. And back up to, as soon as we're done with these maneuvers, 400,000 and plenty more coming in. Right. Now, this is where things start getting interesting, because no one's coming to join us right now, because even though the Unbidden are blatantly, like, you know, the biggest threat to the galaxy, no one seems to actually care. So, I need a dummy war, which everyone is like a traditional war that everyone's fully willing to get behind. Now, this is why I left a rogue state down here, the Great Ilkahan Authority, who have done basically nothing wrong aside from wanting to be independent, unlike the remaining 98% of the galaxy. So, what we need to do basically on them instead is we just need to liberate them. Because a war of liberation, pretty much no one ever votes down. So basically I just need to liberate just everything they've got. So we're just going to liberate all of them, and literally everyone's going to vote for it. I just want an absolute total war of liberation against those guys. Everyone will vote for it. That will begin a war. And because that's going to begin a war, that means that everyone will consider themselves at war. And that means everyone will jump and join up with my fleet. So we're going to confirm that right now. Okay, and now we're just going to wait for the votes to come in. War declaration, everyone's going to vote yes. I voted yes too. And in a moment, that will go... Someone decides to open up. The Latrepian nations open their borders to us. Well, that's good. Who's not voted? Good! Right, the war's underway. Excellent. And the, I feel very sorry for the Great Ilkhan Authority who have responded, but why?
Aww.
Look at that. They've received confirmation that the entire galaxy is at war with them and respond, why would you do that?
Aww.
We pose literally no threat to anyone. We're pacifists. I've basically just taken the Death Star over to Alderaan here. This is where we're going to draw up. In the system of Aklinda, which is a completely unremarkable system that's got nothing in it except one barren, molten world that happens to be of some interest to engineering students. This is where the greatest fleet the galaxy has ever seen is going to rally. Something big's actually happening, which is kind of unfortunate. The Federation fleet has decided to go ahead. It theoretically might win. It's slightly the weaker force, but the Federation fleet, which is backed up by a huge amount of battleships, but I don't think this is actually that well set up. Who's currently even the president, by the way? The president is the state of Kelzaka. Okay. The problem is, what they've done is they've retrofitted all of these ships out to have... Well, actually, they do have kinetic artillery. And they have some large phase disruptors, but they're using tachyon lancers, which is not the best thing. And that concerns me, because it means they're going into a fight without the best kits. Let's let this fight kick off here. Someone's taken a bit of a knock here, and a decently skilled admiral is actually taking control here. Actually, it's a former Yapathi. One of the Yapathi is actually in control here, which is kind of cool. Looks like the long-range lasers are actually doing a pretty good job tearing these guys apart at the time being. So at the front line, yeah, these guys are definitely losing strength pretty quickly. The question is, how fast are these guys losing their strength? Broadly comparable. I mean, that's a lot of firepower being put on the front line of the Unbidden right now. Quite frankly, it would be nice if one of their fleets was to go down immediately. But you can see their shields are being taken down and they're closing in. But the nice thing is, if it gets to close range, that's at the exact point when these corvettes can start doing their best work. Because these corvettes are probably torpedo boats. And at this point, yeah, the shields are collapsing. When the shields are down, but the shields of, yeah, at this point, the Federation fleet is actually overtaken. But the Federation fleet is honestly a one-shot only thing, because no one's going to be rebuilding it fast enough. So, as a result of this, it looks like there might actually be a victory here, but I would not be surprised to see reinforcements coming in from the Unbidden. They've got jump drives, but this looks like a good early first win for the forces of the Galactic Empire. Quite frankly, the Federation has done an excellent job tearing these guys apart, and now, yeah, they're going down fast. Their ships are just being shredded. At this point, it's point-blank range. Our ships are on top of them. We still have 95,000. We only lost like 15,000 strength in that battle. And that is a very, very good first engagement for the forces of the Galactic Empire. And more is coming in. A reinforcement force of 12,000 from... It's the Warthog people. It's the Grognoplerans, the Warthogs. This is the amount of navy in this system at this point.
Jesus, that's a lot.
It's literally the galaxy. The entire galaxy is showing up. But what we need to... I think what we need to draw attention to is somewhere in here. Hang on. The Kesem Compact, that's their fleet. The Kesem Compact fleet, 20,000, they have let their planets be burnt and their populations be consumed because we in the Galactic Federation said, we go together. We don't go one by one, we stick together. We as a galaxy are united. And they held back their fleets while their own people cried out for help. And I think, therefore, it is fair for us to say not one more Kesem Compact world is destroyed. At this point, I think we go and find the nearest... Here we are. There is a Kesem Compact world right here. I'm moving the staging point over here to the system of Elfheen, which is a Kesem Compact world, and it shall be defended.
The war score is 40%. You need to hurry up.
Oh. Uh-oh. They're right. Why is anybody actually fighting this war? The Kesem Compact... Someone's going in and actually trying to win! Oh, no! Why would you be trying to win? We're not supposed to actually win that war. You stupid bastards. You're ruining everything. It's the Kelzakans. Get out of there. This is a fake war. We're only fighting because we're pretending to fight. We're not supposed to actually be fighting. The Kelzakans are going to win that war by themselves. We need to just get in there and start destroying some armadas right now, because if that war ends, everyone's gonna go home and not bother anymore. And if they go home and not bother anymore, that's gonna cause me some serious problems.
A question for both Claire and John. What is the most pointless and useless information that you know?
I still remember large parts of the original Pokemon rap. Articuno Jinx, Nidorina Beedrill, Haunter, Squirtle, Chansey, Parasect, Execute, Muck, Dugong, Pidgeotto, Lapras, Vulpix, Rhydon. Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all! Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all! Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon! That's one of 10, no, excuse me, that's the first of 10 parts. I'm not gonna do Ota.
It's certainly very shocking for me to
Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Mankey, Venusaur, Rattata, Spearow, Pidgey, Seeking, Jolteon, Dragonite, Ghastly, Ponyta, Rafforion, Poliwrath, Butterfree! Sorry, carry on, Claire.
I don't think
Charmeleon! Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacruel, Aerodactyl, Armanite, Slowpoke, Pidgeot, Arbok. That's all, folks! Sorry, carry on, Claire.
You're just waiting for me to start talking.
Yes!
Start rapping
Yeah,
again.
that's the plan! That's the
Okay.
plan! I think everyone's here. I'm just going to do like a really cool fly-through of like all the different fleets that have shown up. So let's just kind of do, so obviously, you know, there's us, there's Zarza, you know, our own kind of Roman fleet, and behind them, the Kessam, who have brought 20,000 to bear of their beautiful little birdie ships, and then back here behind them, oh, very similar to our own, actually, in fact, the Combine of Zukai, they've brought 30,000 to bear. There's 13,000 of the Sex Bugs, good old Sex Bugs. Oh, they've got no leader, so I can't actually caress the portrait as much as I would like to. Over here, the Combine of Zukai brought another 22,000 over there. There are the friends, our friends the Rontor. There's the Infinite Pond with the ships that were presumably a gift from the Fallen Empire. Behind them, another 30,000 from the Kessam Compact. Oh, it's the Ilkahan Consortium. We've been at war with them in the past, I'm pretty sure. Now we're friends, and they've brought 27,000 to bear. 30,000 from our vassals. Behind them, 40,000 from the Rontor. Behind them, another 20,000 from the Infinite Pond. And behind them, a hell of a lot of troop carriers from somebody who didn't tell anyone that there's no planets to take. It is time, I think, for the speech. The speech before we go forward together. Which is centuries ago, when Rome first took its place among the stars, there were many people out there who waged war against us, who we waged war against, who waged war against each other. This has been a galaxy of strife, a galaxy of many different colours and species, many different ethoses, many different civics, many contrasting ideologies that have decided to settle things through the means of war. You see, as we just look at the galaxy, so many different people, even today, as the Pax Romana is as big as it is, even today there are so many different people in the world. And I indeed have fought many of you in the past, many of you who are here, that sin, we've waged war against them, we have waged war against the enveloped people and the Ilkahan, against the warthogs, against the Apathi. We've eliminated the Apathi and wiped out their entire civilization. But today, no more. Today, we are united. We are one federation taking on the Unbidden. And today, I stand proudly, shoulder to shoulder, with the Envelope people, with the Apathi remnants, with the Tsin, with the Warthogs, with the Ducks, with the Apathi, with the Sex Bug people, with anyone who will gladly stand by me. We march together, one galaxy united. The children that are born today will never know anything but a galaxy at peace. But if we want those children to grow up at all, we must win this one final fight against the Unbidden. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to serve with you, and now it is time for the one final moment of truth. We go now to relieve the Kelzakids and the Kessam Compact for glory or defeat. Now, over here, we've actually done what we promised, which is we've moved in and we've relieved Mandragon's stronghold, which was under siege by the Unbidden. And now it's time for our first big actual engagement with our fleet. Now, interestingly, all our allies have, I think as they warped at the same place, the game's kind of spawned them really weirdly. Like, these guys have spawned outside of the actual space that you're allowed to be in the galaxy, because they've actually spawned in a in this line rather than this line. But that's fine, because it means these guys will actually act as a screening force for my battleships. And my battleships are the ones who are going to win this fight in the end. So, a moment's pause while we see how well we do here. I think my battle cruisers are going into position right now. Unfortunately, who are the guys at the front? The guys at the front are the Combine of Zukai, who unfortunately are probably going to get pretty well eaten up at this point. The frame rate's probably going to start tanking itself momentarily. More reinforcements are piling in at the back. At this point, we probably can't even fit on screen all the different fleets. Oh, blimey, the fleet combat doesn't even tell me what my side is anymore, because my side's so big it doesn't even get to appear in fleet combat. But I can keep an eye on these guys, at least. So, the Zukai are coming in and starting the attack. At this point, we need to just kind of zoom in on these guys. I'm not sure my battle cruisers are in range yet. The question is when are the... Oh, I think that might be the first shot starting to come in there. That might be the Giga Cannons starting to fire. As soon as the... Oh, more's warping in. Oh, Claire, everyone's here. Everyone's flipping arrived, and those guys are going to start going down. They're not currently, we're not properly in range right now. Only the Combine of Zukai are in range. My forces are coming forward. I'm pretty sure the yellow beams coming in there are actually the Giga Cannons that are kicking in, and they're going to start destroying some stuff. One Wraith-class ship has already gone down, but honestly, the Wraith-classes are... Which ones are those? They're not so bad. The Wraith-classes, which I think at the front are the ones who have got like 50% of their entire health, is shielding. So, at this point right now, the Unbidden fleet still looks pretty bloody powerful. I'm issuing bombers. The frame rate, well, you can see what the frame rate's doing. Oh, more people are piling in from behind. The envelope people are here. The envelope people have shown up. This is what I wanted for the end of this, which is the entire galaxy have shown up. Even the envelope people have said, like, I know we crippled them really recently in a war, but they've actually shown up with 1,000 strength. That's all they can contribute. But they're here. They've shown up with 1,000 strength, and they're here, and they're helping us destroy the flipping guys. And now I'm pretty sure our cannons are in range, because now, look, okay, now, look at that. They're just having, like, a third of their health bar being destroyed. And as soon as our corvettes get into range and our torpedo boats actually start hitting them, and I think our torpedo boats are now moving into range, thanks to being shielded by the Combine of Zukai, you'll start seeing their shields start to... Oh, yeah, there it goes. The shield's starting to collapse. Once the shields go down, you know that fleet's in trouble. This fleet is... It's a weird kind of wobbly thing from a different dimension. It kind of pops. When they die, they don't really kind of explode. They kind of pop. And that's entirely what's happened at this point. Their shields are gone, and their ships they're dropping 13,000 at a time. This fleet has been utterly flipping annihilated. Legio 1 has barely taken a scratch because our allies are working as a screening force. We are the hammer that is going to destroy these guys, but also our Admiral just leveled up like 6 times. The strength of Legio 1 just went up from 380,000 to 430,000 because this guy just went up from level 1 to level 5 off a single engagement. And that means fire rate's up 25%. So because he's just got so much better from that fight, the fleet just became even more powerful. I want to give a shout out to these guys at the back. Like the Hanma Interstellar Hierarchy, who showed up with 284 strength, and the... Hang on, who are you guys? The Galactic Velmanax Nation, who showed it with 134. The Great Velmanax Empire, who showed it with 130. Or the Tribes of the Medifi Vada, I don't even know where those guys bloody are. Oh, they're a vassal into the Infinite Pond, who showed it with 143. Like, they could only spare one ship, but they came. They showed up with that. They came to help, damn it. Everyone showed up. The great powers and the little guys all together have shown up. That's the important thing, damn it. So I think it's time for us to move on in that case. I'm taking Legio 1, now with a more confident general, over here to the system of Gillis, where basically our job will be trying to relieve the system of Darmug's frontier. So I am bringing the fleet over in this direction right now, and they have immediately, they've started bombarding this world. Hopefully we'll be able to get to it, because if that planetary fortification reaches 0, then that's it. That planet is just dead. Are they? Yes, indeed. They've pulled away from Darmug's frontier. We have saved Darmug's frontier, and now at this point, if we can just take this one fleet on alone, we should be able to win this one pretty handily, but it will be this time, unless a huge number... And there they come! Unless a huge number of allies just materialise out of nowhere, which is what they've done again. Because I'm pretty sure what they do is they disappear to a particular orientation, and then that orientation again... Oh dear. Okay, the Ilkhan Authority have indeed... That war's now over. Fortunately, I'm kind of hoping that everyone who's currently involved in this fight might choose to stick around anyway. So don't go home. Don't go... I think some of them decided to go home. Yeah, the Kesam Compact have decided they can't be arsed with this whole Unbidden thing anymore. And you... Okay, everyone's pulling out. Fortunately, the Kesam Compact, who have, you know, some vague respect for what's going on here because it's happening inside or very close by to their borders, they've decided they do want to stay around. Everyone else is naffing off home. Everyone else is naffing off home. Okay. Any chance I can convince you to go to war against the... No, technically you're not willing to go to war against the Unbidden because the Unbidden don't exist as an actual faction. Okay, yeah, you know what? You can gladly join the bloody league. Okay. Unfortunately, everyone's now decided they've got more important things to do than deal with the Unbidden. So this one's now on us. Luckily, this fleet right here is now being absolutely torn to flipping shreds by our long-range forces. But we are going to start losing our corvettes very, very quickly. Ah, there's a Void Shaper. We need to get over there because the Void Shaper is totally going to want to create a flipping, an anchor. So that's our next destination. Okay, at this point, it's Legio 1 all by themselves with an Inari on board. We're just going to go over there and we're kind of going to hope someone follows us and barely anyone's around. I need to just clean up these little fleets because if I don't clean up the little fleets, sooner or later, there'll be enough of them that they can just start actually joining together. And I need to take them out one at a time. For the moment at least, my corvettes together with... Oh, in come the Giga Cannons. The Giga Cannons firing and the Giga Cannons just hitting those ships at the front. The ships at the front are just being torn apart very, very quickly indeed. But the big thing we need to take out is over here. Because I suspect that we can't see it quite yet. That's, yeah, right now we're just seeing the battleship. Whatever this thing is that they're trying to warp in, which I suspect is one of the dimensional anchors, that needs to go down. They've got one fleet of about 100,000 holding it up, but we're okay for the time being. And I think our fleet is back to being big enough we now can't see. Somebody's just died. It's a governor. He was 137. I think that's okay. And our fleet is... Oh, we're issuing bombers like crazy. The bombers are... Ah, they finally decided to go the right direction. But mainly at this point, we're being carried by our battle cruisers. And as soon as our corvettes actually manage to close the distance... Because, yeah, it's our corvettes that are being nailed. Like, the corvettes have almost been destroyed one at a time, which is unfortunate, but nothing I can do about that. I can hover over this to see how many corvettes I've got. Oh, yeah, we just lost 3 corvettes in a single blow. The corvettes are going down, but the battleships... Their numbers are holding steady. And when the corvettes do actually get up close, they do good work. But the corvettes, okay, that's what we need. We just need to be pumping corvettes like crazy. So, Corvette, 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 and Corvette, 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 and Corvette, 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 Corvette. I've got a new speech to make.
Okay, go.
Which is, Romans! About maybe a month or 2 ago, I gave a big speech about how the galaxy was all united together against the threat and we were all together. Well, everyone else pissed off because the fake war I set up in order to actually force everyone to kind of trick them into binding together, that was actually won accidentally because the bloody Kelzackers with their stupid tentacles, yeah, the tentacle heads, we're just going to go on the tentacle heads from now on. Yeah, I said it. I said tentacle heads. They just won that war and now everyone's pissed off home and can't be bothered to deal with the extra dimension invaders. So I guess we're just going to have to win this war by ourselves because Rome doesn't need friends. Screw xenophilia. Screw all of that stuff I was saying in the previous speech. Now we're just going to go and win by ourselves. So let's just go and do that. Because in the end, you cannot trust the faithless Zeno. Let that be the rallying cry across our empire. You can't trust the faithless cocking Zeno. There we are. Now we're ready to go to war properly.
Well, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, you're the faithless Zeno. It's time. We're sending the fleet in to coup turn itself. We're going to be taking on 300,000 strength with my 400,000. And they've got, okay, they've got a 3-star admiral. I've got a 4-star admiral, which kind of feeds into my strength. But this could still be a little bit on the dicey side, depending on the engagement, which is why I'm very carefully approaching from this angle. Because when you approach from the, like, south, obviously it means I'm going to appear in this system. Bloody hell, everyone hates the Unbidden, but no one can be bothered to show up to deal with them. We're going to be coming down here. So I'm kind of hoping we can lure the fleet away from their defense stations.
Xenophobia, by the way, John, you know all these ships have Xenos on their crew, right?
Actually, they probably do. That's actually true. You know what? We've got to make a quick third speech here. So, Space Romans. It's been brought to my attention that, like, though technically, no one actually else bothered showing up, the admiral of this fleet is actually an Inari. And some of you may recall our very first war that we actually came very close to losing. In fact, I think we did lose the first round of that war against the Inari, back when they were the Inari Slayers. They were monstrous, terrifying bird demons to the south, who we thought were absolutely slaughterous. They pushed our Federation to the flipping limit. Alright, they caused real trouble for us. And now, the Inari are comfortably and happily integrated into our empire, and one of them, right now, is, in fact, the Admiral that is going to lead our fleet to victory today. Meanwhile, in our science labs, we have got a robot. Robots being people too, and deserving of all the same rights, are actually working on our engineering core right now. We have got one of the Boss Pack Tukes. Now, you may remember the Boss Pack Tukes. They were a fallen empire we went to war against. They are now our friends. They're now working for us. And indeed, the Beldros, the Mentat himself, from one of the actual enclaves, is working for us too. None of them are Romans, and yet they work alongside us. Space Rome may stand alone here today. The other empires may not have shown up, but Space Rome is itself a huge, massive, multicultural society featuring every type of robot, person, plant, fungoid, mollusk, birds, mammals. Birds, mammals.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
And mushrooms. Let us never forget the mushrooms. Never forget the contribution of Vlad the Unmailer, the man who led our forces across countless worlds. Let us never forget the tabbies, the xeno mushroom tabbies, the bastard science offspring of xenomorphs and cat and mushroom that won us so many flipping wars. Let us never forget any of these people, or indeed the Ilkahan, who is currently in a science vessel. We are a truly multicultural empire, and though the other empires have not shown up for this fight, regardless, we are xenophiles, and that has made us strong. And together, we are stronger.
The whole chat is like, John, obviously birds are mammals. What?
Well, they're warm-blooded like animal things.
Mammals are any vertebrates, distinguished from reptiles by the possession of a neocortex, hair, 3 middle ear bones, and mammary glands. Females of all mammal species nurse their young with milk.
Now, as I was saying about the final push to secure galactic security for all time,
that
before Claire started talking about bird tits or something, I don't know.
Okay, the point is that birds don't have tits.
Yes, they do. There's blue tits. Ha ha! Blooms.
No. There are so many.
You walked right into that one! This is it. We're now moving in against the first station, which we'll take out, and then it's the fleet. Now, this could go wrong, because it's been a while since the portal spawned a new Unbidden fleet. If the portal spawns another 110,000, like as we're doing this fight, we're suddenly outnumbered. Then we're in trouble, and we'd have to consider backing off. But, hopefully, we'll be in a position where we can... I have no way of backing out, because I don't have the emergency jump button, because my fleet is too big to be allowed any options. I physically can't retreat from this. We're now inside the effective range, and we need to take out this station. I'm not sure what this station even does, but as soon as it goes down, this effective range will go down. Then it will be... Hopefully we'll be able to have this fight without going inside the effective range of that station. Okay, that one's down. Now, our battleships will be able to stay at the back, outside of the effective range. Has anyone else bothered showing up? No, no one else has bothered showing up for this. Their fleet's kind of positioned quite nicely, because their fleet's at an angle, meaning our kind of big curve is now taking out and nailing these guys in the flank. They're kind of coming at us in a line. This is very, very much exactly where I wanted to be positioned, which is great. They're starting to take damage. We're still holding on at 400, yep, 423,000, and we've got reinforcements coming in. Corvettes are piling in from all sides. The Giga Cannons are firing. We are utterly tearing these guys apart. Oh, we've lost a few Corvettes, so now we have the ability to retreat. Okay, if this goes completely tits up, we can actually retreat. Actually, they're going down pretty fast. 245 at this point. They are just losing wraiths everywhere. Their wraiths are going down incredibly fast. The Giga Cannons are tearing them apart. But the corvettes are now coming in. Where are the bombers? The bombers are coming in too. Look at the bomber, Claire. It's a flip. Look at all those bombers. That's just a flipping.
Oh, wow.
That is just a sea of bombers. The bombers so far haven't been very good at locating where they're supposed to be going at this point. But at this point, they're actually doing a pretty damn good job. The portal, I think, so far has not actually been attacked. The portal also has 150 armor. It's the only thing in this entire fleet that actually has some armor. But now, the bombers are coming in. And when the bombers actually get close by, the bombers can completely bypass these guys' shields. They're going to start collapsing very quickly. They're falling back, down to 172. We still, technically, okay, we've just lost. We're starting to lose some ships here because my fleet's at close range. And I think they're taking some damage off the actual ships there, the actual defense stations. But now, my bombers have managed to make it over here. You can see the bombers starting to circle around these ships, dropping their payload, completely bypassing those shields. 200% down. Now, at this point, they are starting to collapse very, very quickly indeed. We still have 387,000. The battle cruisers at the rear, those Giga Cannons tearing it apart. This is looking very, very good indeed. 150,000. At this point, even if another fleet does show up, I think we've still got this. Our corvettes are swarming them. They're doing the sensible thing, which is they're backing off. They're desperately trying to get to our battle cruisers. They're sending some stuff over to our battle cruisers. But at this point, they cannot get close enough. Our corvettes are falling back to the fleet over here. Good stuff all around. Our construction shields are completed. That means corvettes are coming. The corvettes are just piling in from this angle. I think at this point the portal is under attack. The portal is now directly under assault by our fleet, but it has got a hell of a lot of hull points. It's got over 200,000 hull points, but I think the fleet has been destroyed. I think that's pretty much all they've actually got left at this point. The Unbidden have got no more actual fleets on the flipping field. Now it's just straight up. Oh, the bombers are just converging on. Claire, look at them. It's just a maelstrom of bombers. It's just a whirlwind of bombers. We have got literally probably over 1,000 bombers on the field right now. The portal is just absolutely surrounded, being bombed into the cocking ground, and this is it. This is it. There's nothing more. The Unbidden have been defeated.
Woo!
Oh my. The entire galaxy joined together. Then it decided it couldn't be bothered to join together. But by then, in all fairness, the galaxy did help me take out the first few fleets. Oh, we had no opportunity to study their dimension. No, I'm pretty happy we just closed the door on it. The last extra dimension invaders have been wiped out, hopefully ridding the galaxy of this threat for good. And sentients everywhere are celebrating the news of this great victory, safe at last in the knowledge that they won't be harvested as food by these strange NG creatures after all. Perhaps this is the beginning of a new era of galactic cooperation and friendship. It absolutely flipping is. Because, yeah, everyone is still in the Federation. Now, I think literally everyone's in the Federation, or a vast of someone in the Federation. So, unfortunately, we had no opportunity to study them. But I gained 60,000 Unity as a one-off, which will almost certainly be immediately a nice thing we can have here. Yes, would you believe I can actually have a new flipping tradition, and I know exactly which one I want. I want fleet levies, because that's 20% of my vassal's naval capacity gets passed to me, which I need, so I'm having that straight away, which is great, and I'm only 75 months for another flipping one, and that actually puts me very close to my fleet cap, and I'm back into profit on both energy and minerals. So, actually, we're in very, very good shape right now. The Kesam Compact wishes to kick out the Zukakon into... No, we're not kicking anyone out, okay? Everybody is staying inside the Federation. Now the Kesam Compact are voting to kick that... Stop voting to kick everyone! No! We're not cocking anybody. Stop it! So our future of glorious peace and everyone being friends might have been a little bit premature. As it turns out, someone's always going to be a dick. I'm going to see what I can find as, like, the earliest save game I can find from the Pax Romana. I've got a small one here. Hang on, I'm going to load that quickly. I've just saved the end there. So let's just load up. Let's just remind ourselves where we came from here. Load up the original thing here, and... Oh, there we are! There we are! We are, right now, yeah, we're not even, right now, in a flipping... the Federation is only me and the bug people. The Infinite Pond haven't joined yet. They haven't actually joined yet, and over here, we've got... I think there was a... Yes, of course, that was the Zigmox. That was the Zigmox, because we actually raised them up. We actually uplifted them, and this was them as they started off for the very first time before we integrated them. When we were sharing temperature with them, and the Inari were the most terrifying things in the galaxy, and the snails were right there. This is it. This is all sort of. There's the Apathy Ancients too. This is where it began.
Everybody is going, oh, baby Empire.
This is where it began, when we had flipping... Our 5 planets were Rome, Nero Prime, Iverstead, Constantinople, and Carthage 2. Those were our 5 worlds, and our entire combined fleet strength was about 1,000. We were really happy because we just hit our first 1,000 of strength. As we look back on where our empire began, and know that it will go on, we have a manifest destiny to unite the galaxy, not forcing them under our banner, not waging war on them, but joining together in a single glorious federation. A federation that at this exact moment in time has 2 members, will go on in time to eat the entire galaxy, and we will all be friends together, apart from the Kessim. The Kessim are dicks, but screw those dicks. We are saying goodbye to Stellaris for now. Take one last look at the galaxy as it was, ladies and gentlemen, as we bid the Pax Romana farewell, and indeed go over to the goodbye screen. It's goodbye, but in the meantime, I've been John.
I've been Claire.
This has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been the end of Stellaris. Thank you all so very, very much for joining me on this wonderful live stream journey, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
You know, I really hope we've agreed open borders with Japan, by the way. Otherwise, they have basically just invaded. I may have picked the wrong fight over... Yep. And my cities, of course, have got even more flipping high-tech, though mysteriously still completely dependent on, you know, an aqueduct. Now, I'm not saying your entire army is mostly already dead, but it kind of actually is.